Hello and welcome to Not a Tolly Review. My name is Hriday Ranjan. Now you must have noticed that I'm smiling widely today. It's not because I have smoked, of course not. It's because this weekend sees the release of not one but two small independent films that have chosen to take the unconventional path. In this video, we'll be discussing the film Mallesham, produced and directed by Raj R, starring Priyadarshi, Jhansi and Ananya Nagalla. Mallesham tells the story of Chintakindi Mallesham, who was a school dropout who went on to invent a weaving machine that transformed the lives of the weaving community that he belonged to and eventually won him a Padma Shri award. I loved the casting of the film. It's a stroke of genius. As the parents of Mallesham, Jhansi and Chakrapani become the emotional core of the movie, and yet they do not do it through any sort of melodrama. The heroine who is making her debut in this, Ananya Nagalla, is spot on as Padma, who plays Mallesham's wife. She uses her eyes and her voice to great effect. And finally, whoever is the casting director who cast Gangava in the film deserves an award. That woman, who is already very popular on YouTube, is a phenomenon. Every time she comes on screen, people were howling with laughter. Now, this film has a huge, large ensemble cast, and yet the casting for each of the characters has been done with great love and care. Now, the director uses three main techniques to give his film a realistic tone. Number one, he uses a lot of Telangana local traditions and customs, songs and dances that gives you a feel of the place. Number two, the accents used are not gimmicky. They're not the kinds we have heard by villains and comedians in movies. It has a very rural, authentic flavor. Number three, sync sound is used, and this captures the sounds of the place beautifully. Overall, the film seems very honest, as opposed to a movie like Maharshi, wherein the hero is working in the farms, but his hands are clean, his clothes are perfectly ironed. In fact, honesty is the first thing you notice about Mallesham. It is a great challenge in 2019 to make a biopic because, number one, due to social media, most people already know the story. Also, we don't really know how to make biopics because we make hagiographies in which the protagonist has no faults altogether. You know what films I'm referring to. And most importantly, most biopics are made on superstars or politicians or film stars. Here instead, director Raj R chooses to make the plot his hero. And he zooms into great detail to show the obsession of Mallesham and his machine. Now, the film works primarily because of the performances. Every character in the film is so well written and so well acted. Like, for example, the hero's friends are not there just to push the mission of the hero. They are just normal, interesting characters who live in the village. Ananya Nagalla as the female lead is terrific. It is such a joy to watch somebody who can act and speak the language at the same time. That just goes on to show that if somebody actually knows the language, how much of a difference it makes to the final performance. Not since 2016's Pelli Chupulu have I seen such an assured debut of a female actor. Finally, the film belongs to Priyadarshi, who manages to carry the burden of the film from the first frame to the last frame. Now, Priyadarshi has the reputation of being a comedian, and it is said that comedy is the toughest form of acting, and if you can do comedy, you can do any form of acting. Darshi proves that with this movie. However, it's not like the film does not have its flaws. The director is so obsessed with his research that he, in his attempt to show us every minute detail of the machine making process, the second half ends up going around in loops endlessly. Personally, I would have liked it if the film was edited more sharply. The other grudge that I had with the movie was that I already knew the story of Mallesham, but I wanted to see the impact that his machine had on his community. Unfortunately, we don't get to see that. Finally, it is a battle between the film's honesty and its runtime. Go watch Mallesham if you ever had a dream of making your own first movie. Because Mallesham is proof that your first film can be unconventional, it can be a small budgeted film, and yet it can touch people's hearts.
ఏంటి ఇప్పుడు కామెడీ చేయాలనా? మనోడేం రోల్ ఇయ్యలే, కానీ ఈ వారం మంచి సినిమాలు వచ్చినాయి రెండు. పోయి మంచిగా వీకెండ్ ఎంజాయ్ చేసాను. ఓకే, బాయ్.